Montgomery's murder conviction was overturned because the court said he was prejudiced when the trial judge allowed strong evidence of a July 2019 beating of Harmony and weaker evidence of a December 2019 alleged murder to be presented in the same trial. The decision reads, "We therefore conclude that this disparity created a significant risk that the jury would rely on the strength of the evidence that the defendant struck the victim in anger in July to conclude that he similarly and fatally struck the victim in December."
But we have a father whose murder conviction has been overturned. Why? Because of a procedural trial flaw. And he's charged with killing his 5-year-old daughter.
New Hampshire Supreme Court overturned Adam Montgomery's murder conviction. 2 years ago, Montgomery was sentenced to 45 years to life for the murder of his 5-year-old daughter, Harmony. But as WBZ's Christina Rex shows us, the court says he did not get a fair trial.
Can you tell me that she's alive?
Adam Montgomery's murder conviction overturned by New Hampshire's highest court.
I swear on my life.
The 35-year-old was convicted in 2024 of murdering his 5-year-old daughter, Harmony, by allegedly beating her to death in 2019 and later disposing of her body. Harmony wasn't reported missing for more than 2 years, and her body has never been found, despite numerous searches from police and the public.
Devastated, of course.
Retired Massachusetts Judge Carol Erskine oversaw the adoption of Harmony's brother, Jameson, and she's been an advocate for reform ever since.
People have to understand the court didn't come out and say, hey, he's innocent, or they didn't meet the reasonable, beyond a reasonable doubt standard. The court didn't say that.
Montgomery's murder conviction was overturned because the court said he was prejudiced when the trial judge allowed strong evidence of a July 2019 beating of Harmony and weaker evidence of a December 2019 alleged murder to be presented in the same trial. The decision reads, "We therefore conclude that this disparity created a significant risk that the jury would rely on the strength of the evidence that the defendant struck the victim in anger in July to conclude that he similarly and fatally struck the victim in December."
So they can't use the conclusion that this man is a child beater to be like, oh, okay, he's the murder makes sense as well. Let me know if y'all think that that's prejudice or if that shouldn't be used, but that sounds crazy to me. I mean, if anything, that builds to his character. It tells you more about his character, if anything. But I mean, I guess that's against the law. Let's keep going, y'all.
It's very hard, I think, for a jury to separate something like that, like this vicious assault that took place in July.
Prosecutors plan to retry the murder case on its own. It will likely focus on the testimony of Kayla Montgomery, Adam's estranged wife, who allegedly saw the murder happen. And it'll be hard for Harmony's family to relive.
This just opens up wounds for the family that, are just difficult to manage.
And a question a lot of people have tonight, Adam Montgomery will not get out of jail right now. He's doing a more than 40-year sentence for a number of other crimes he was convicted of. Now, the adoptive parents of Harmony Montgomery's brother did release a statement to WBZ saying they're disgusted by this decision. They said they'd hoped their son would not have to see or hear about the nightmare that his sister lived, but now he'll be old enough to understand this second trial. Lisa?
Wow. That's something to think about, y'all. They were young enough to where they didn't even understand what was going on, but now they're old enough to physically take it in, and they got to go through this as well. This is crazy. Let's go over to one more video.
Yeah, that's an important point to note, Gene. We have also just learned from the Attorney General's office that they will retry this case. This trial included several charges that carry their own sentences, among them second-degree assault, falsifying physical evidence, and abuse of a corpse. Just before his trial began in February of 2024, Montgomery acknowledged his guilt of falsifying physical evidence and abuse of a corpse. He was sentenced 3.5 to 7 years on the evidence charge. The abuse of a corpse sentence was 12 months suspended. He was convicted of second-degree assault along with the murder conviction. That assault sentence is for 4 to 8 years. When it comes to the murder case, here is how the state could move forward.
This is a case and a story that has been really difficult for the city of Manchester, for the entire state, and our hearts just go out to Harmony Montgomery's family, her loved ones, all those who knew and loved her, and everybody who's been affected by this case. But again, we respect this decision, but we're very disappointed by it.
Now, the Attorney General says they will not stop in their efforts to get justice for Harmony. Now, the sentences from his murder trial will not begin until after he serves time in a weapons case. A year before the murder trial, Montgomery was convicted in a weapons trial. He was sentenced to at least 32.5 years in prison on charges including being an armed career criminal. During the sentencing hearing in this case, Montgomery insisted he did not kill his daughter Harmony. Montgomery is serving the sentences on those weapons convictions before he begins the sentences from his case in 2024. Jean?
All right, thanks, Tom. There are a lot of developments in this case, and you can keep track of them.
Absolutely craziness, y'all. Absolute craziness. Let's get over into the AI breakdown just to find out a little bit more information on the case. Let's get over into it. So, as we know, we got the New Hampshire Supreme Court overturned the Adam Montgomery second-degree murder conviction on June 11th. So today, due to procedural trial flaw, the courts ruled that trying the murder charge alongside an earlier separate assault charge prevented him from receiving a fair trial. The unanimous ruling determined that combined the two distinct instances into one trial severely affected the jury. This is crazy, y'all. Multiple independent witnesses corroborated a July 19th assault charge, making the case highly solid. The December 2019 murder charge relied highly on the testimony of the estranged wife. Okay. The justices ruled that the significant risk that the jury used the strong evidence from the prior assault to improperly conclude that he was guilty of the fatal head strike months later. The High Court strictly upheld Montgomery's other convictions, including second-degree assault, falsifying physical evidence, and witness tampering, and abuse of a court. Montgomery is serving his sentence in Virginia prison. He remains incarcerated on a 43.5-year sentence stemming from these other charges. The New Hampshire Attorney General office expressed a deep disappointment in the procedural ruling and announced it will immediately pursue a standalone retrial on the second-degree murder charge. The remains of the 5-year-old have still not been located to this day. Absolutely tragic situation, y'all. At least he is not getting out of prison. But how old is he now? He is... I'm assuming in his 40s. He's 36. So he's serving 43.5 years. Most likely can get out halfway or eligible for parole halfway through. They have to try this again. He cannot get out that soon. But let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said, y'all. It's a crazy situation, but we have to keep looking at it.